From a secret location in room 100 of 540 Jack Gibbs Boulevard, this is Craft. I'm your host, Doug Dangler. I am here at the 2014 Comic-Con with Patrick and Shelly Block, artists and illustrators, and I believe a married team. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so tell me about how you got started doing this. It looks like you've got quite a number of different kinds of things going on here.
Yes, we've worked for Disney for the last 25 years as freelance artists doing Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge comic books. And I guess what brought us into working for Disney was the fact that I grew up reading the stories of Carl Barks and the Disney artists. And they were always my favorite comic books growing up.
Okay. And how did you get involved?
He wanted to do it and he needed a writer, and I said, I can do that, but he said, that's very hard, dear. So I wrote one story and they bought it.
Okay, and then what did you say after the words to him? The I told you so?
Of course.
Okay.
I told you
that
so.
went on for a
about
number of years.
30 years after.
Yes, I've been married for 22, so I understand the thing. So tell me about how you work. Who comes up with the ideas for the story? You must be doing that, and then
yes,
you
most
illustrate.
of the ideas I come up with from real life.
It's a real team effort, so it's like a lot of back and forth kinds of things with our stories. It's hard to remember sometimes who did what afterwards. Yeah.
All right. So tell me about some of the most recent stuff you've done, some of the stories and what you had in mind maybe when you're still working for the Donald Duck Adventures, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
we do work all around the world, published in like 40 different countries. So a lot of the work we do is for the European Disney publishers where the ducks are really popular.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be going to Copenhagen this coming summer.
Okay.
That sound you hear in the background of people shooting zombies here at the show.
Yes. Yes, it's quite noisy here, but you're not losing your mind. Although, Huey, Dewey, and Louie must be, you must think of them as very noisy and difficult.
Well, actually, no, they're very well behaved
Donald's
children.
more the noisy one.
Yeah.
So they sort of take care of Donald most of the time.
Ah, okay. And then Scrooge McDuck is the money behind all of
Yes,
this.
he's a rich uncle, the world's richest duck. He's
Right.
got a money bin of money.
So does that help you when you think about when you're going to work for Scrooge McDuck, and you think about all
Eventually we'll have that much money.
Yeah.
The trouble is
that'll
Scrooge
never
likes
happen.
to keep all of his money and he doesn't give it up. So working for Scrooge McDuck's like the world's worst thing to have happen to you.
Okay. So how did you get into the comics? What were you doing before Donald Duck and all the Donald Duck Adventures? What was was this where you started out?
I'm a hairdresser by trade, and he went to
I've had
fine
various-
art.
Yeah, I've had other art sort of jobs. For a while I designed cemetery memorials, like big Last Supper scenes and things for like tombstones.
Really?
Yes, I did that. I did magazine illustration for a while. Like
From tombstones
wildlife
to Donald
illustration.
Duck.
Yeah. I'm curious about that transition.
There's a
What made you think,
segue
you know what, I
there.
could do tombstones, I can do Donald
Well, it was
Duck?
a local job. It was a position in our hometown where it was, work as an artist, which is just hard to find in general.
Right.
I've always liked cartooning. I was a cartoonist for a high school newspaper and for a college paper. This is what I really like to do. So the tombstone job was like an in-between job before we got on.
It kept the lights on.
Yes.
Okay. That's a great idea. The tombstone job kept the lights on.
It
The
did,
cemetery kept the lights on. So what are you working
Kept
on
us
now?
from going under.
Yeah, kept you from going under.
God.
Have you heard that one before?
Oh yes,
Yes.
many times.
Okay. So what is up next? I see you've also got a book called The Paintings of Patrick Block.
Yes, this is a book of paintings I've done for all around the world for various people. Right now we're working on a project called Frostlings. Frostlings are little snow goblins. They're the first time that we've actually created a project with our own characters. And it's coming out next year. It's a 204-page graphic novel. We just kickstarted it. Everybody knows about Kickstarter now. We raised over $21,000 for the book.
Okay.
So it's a successful Kickstarter, and really happy to be working something where we actually control our own characters. Someone else doesn't own them.
Right. So what made you get started on? So what was the genesis of the Frostlings character? They look like little
Snow goblins.
snow goblins.
Yes.
They're,
They live on a snowball.
Yes, they live on
And
a
they
little,
mine for orbs for heat and light.
see in the corner here, there's a little snowball globe that
I
they
see.
actually live
Okay.
on. So they don't live on Earth. It's a little tiny planet-sized snowball. They're very small little creatures. Yeah, and their problem is everything's frozen. and there's one volcano on the planet that supplies heat. They all fight over the resources.
Okay.
Kind of like here.
Right. All right. So you got to write it? Is that right?
Yeah.
So when you started out writing it, what were the rules you made up for the world? You said they live on this small...
Yeah, we did sit down.
Yes, I actually made the world, like out of a foam ball and clay, and then you have to create the atmosphere.
Okay.
And really think about living on that little snowball. What are you going to go through?
What kind of resources they have to trade, and how they, what they ride. They don't have much besides ice, so how do they get around, and how do they
And
build
basically the
weapons?
Personalities are all people. You have to base it on a person you know. I do.
Okay.
So, we have like Stinky and Flats and different characters, but they're really people
The
that
main character's a
exist in
heroine
real
named
life.
Flats. She's the hero of the piece.
So have you gone back to these people that you know and said, this
oh, no,
is you, and
no,
you should...
no.
Oh, no.
No, most of them don't know how to read, so it won't be a problem.
Your people you know are really coming in for a bit of a meeting here today.
Yes.
That's nicely done. All right, well, thank you very much for talking to me today.
Oh,
Really
you're welcome.
appreciate
Our
it.
pleasure.